Joining us right now, former Speaker of the House and former presidential candidate, currently a CNN analyst, Newt Gingrich. Even more importantly, in a few moments, we'll be joined by Callista Gingrich. She's the author of the new book, From Sea to Shining Sea. But before we have the pleasure of talking to Callista, got to bring you in here, Mr. Speaker, on the president's fevered determination to act unilaterally from the executive branch and grant some kind of amnesty for people who are illegally in this country. If you were in Mitch McConnell's place right now, what would you be doing?
I'd simply calmly announce that the continuing resolution that has to pass to keep the government open will include a provision that says no federal money can be spent to implement an illegal executive order. And then make the president decide. Kellyanne Conway, who's a very good pollster, just came out of the field with a remarkable 74% of the American people oppose the president doing this by unilateral action. Even people who favor doing something on immigration do not believe the president should act like a dictator or a king and try to impose it personally. So, I mean, he is flying in the face of 3 out of every 4 Americans. And that's very dangerous for his presidency.
You know, on that point, apparently we're getting some details from that meeting that took place among bipartisan leadership and the president just before he took off for his trip to China. And it seems, what I'm reading when I read that the transactions that took place there was that the president really doesn't want Congress to come up with an opportunity. He really just wants to do this on his own. Whatever happened to the days when legislators got to legislate on things like this?
Well, I mean, you have in President Obama a college professor who doesn't understand politics. He was a brilliant campaigner for himself. He's presided over the destruction of the Democratic Party at every level, from state legislator to U.S. Senate. His interview yesterday on CBS was almost out of touch with reality. You know, it wasn't his policies, it was politics. Well, what does that mean? I mean, in a free society, politics is the way in which a free people communicate what they think about your policies. And the president himself, back on October 2nd at Northwestern University, said, make no mistake about it, my policies are on the ballot. Well, guess what? His policies were thumped at every single level. But the guy who was on TV, you had zero sense that he was in touch with the planet.
Yeah, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, chairwoman of the Democratic National Committee, she sent a video message to Democrats and donors all across. Well, it was YouTube, so we can all see it. She said, yeah, we have a problem, but it's not policies. The American people believe in our policies, Mr. Speaker. It's just our messaging and our strategy that is off.
Well, you know, there was an old-time minority Republican Party that used to get beaten every 2 years, and that's what it said to itself. They would all get together in a room, look at each other and say, gee, we're correct. I wonder why the American people are stupid. And you now have a new Democratic Party, and it'll be interesting to see if Hillary Clinton joins it, that is sitting in a room saying, you know, we got beat because of something, but what couldn't have been our policies, because our policies are terrific. Well, that's a road for permanent minority status.
All right, Mr. Speaker, it's come that time where we need to speak to the other half.
Yeah, we're done with you.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time and your thoughts, but we really need to talk to Callista Gingrich. Would you mind handing the phone over?
Well, good morning. Thanks for having us.
There we go. So the new book is called From Sea to Shining Sea, and there's a book signing today and tomorrow. Today, it's in Hunt Valley, Maryland, at the Greetings and Readings, and then tomorrow, it's in Fairfax, Virginia, at Barnes & Nobles.
Yeah, now, these books have been interesting. What's this one? What does this one try to accomplish?
Well, my new book, From Sea to Shining Sea, is the 4th volume in my Ellis the Elephant series, and this is a series that offers a guided tour of American history for 4 to 8-year-olds. And in this book, Ellis the Elephant, who is my time-traveling...
Oh, that elephant is back again.
We love that elephant. Yeah.
Yes, he discovers a growing nation and the great expedition of Lewis and Clark.
Oh. So this is like the Ellis the Elephant version of the old Schoolhouse Rock one. Which one? Oh, Elbow Room. That was the one with Sacagawea and all that stuff. So you send an elephant out to Oregon?
That's right. We send Ellis the Elephant along with Lewis and Clark across our great nation, this voyage of danger and discovery from St. Louis to the Pacific, which inspired many people to go west. This is what he learns about. It's really so important so kids really can understand how we grew from those 13 original colonies across an entire continent. So, a lot of kids today aren't learning our history, and it's my intent to share these pivotal moments that have shaped our nation with young children. My books are really an introduction to those key moments that have made us who we are today.
So what kind of reaction do you get from parents on when they get these books for their kids?
Well, Ellis the Elephant has been received very well with parents, grandparents, teachers, and children. There are so few books written for 4 to 8-year-olds about American history. So people are very glad to see these.
So, listen, this is the time of manifest destiny you're describing here, as Lewis and Clark were charged to go out and stretch our nation, as you put it in the title of your book, From Sea to Shining Sea. But the idea of manifest destiny, that's sort of politically incorrect these days. Do you actually use the term manifest destiny?
Well, the book is for 4 to 8-year-olds, so I don't actually use this term. But you're right. A lot of our books are either politically correct or revisionist history. So I really want to present things in a historical manner.
Right.
As we look at some stats today, it's really sobering. Today, only 20% of fourth graders, 17% of eighth graders, and 12% of 12th graders are actually at grade level proficiency in American history. So we've got some work to do, and we owe it to our kids to give them the tools they need at an early age so they can begin to appreciate the greatness of this nation.
And listen, for your next book, I've got a great idea. Ellis the Elephant learns the truth behind morning talk radio. It would be compelling.
Oh, not for kids, it's not. No, I don't know about that.
Callista, thank you so much for joining us.
Callista, one last quick question. A lot of candidates are lining up for president in 2016. If Newt turns to you and says, Callista, I've been thinking, are you going to change the locks on the doors and strap him to the bed and not let him out of the house?
Well, anything's possible.
Wait a minute. So you're saying that you might give him a permission slip to run for president again?
Well, there are a lot of good candidates out there that have never done this before, and I suspect they will be running. But, in the meantime, we are going to be sharing American history with young children.
Oh, nice dodge. All right.
That was called a segue. That's beautiful.
Well played.
Thank you, Callista. We appreciate it. By the way, tonight, 6:30, Greetings and Readings, 118 AA Shawan Road in Hunt Valley, Maryland. Tomorrow, Barnes & Noble, Fair Lakes Promenade in Fairfax, Virginia.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Callista.